皆さん、こんにちは。ジョアナです。So, how the title says, I spent over 600 euros in Japanese books over my life as a student. So, we are here today to talk about what are the best books to start learning Japanese. But of course, this is only my opinion. Not everybody learns the same, not everybody needs the same things. So this is just my opinion as a teacher and as a person and as a Japanese student. So let's talk about books for beginners, someone that is starting from the complete bottom, and how my experience was. So first I did for 2 years, I was just learning a few things over the internet. By that time, the internet wasn't that useful as now to learn Japanese, but I didn't manage to learn many things. And finally, when I could afford, going to Japanese classes, I started with a Japanese online teacher. And the book that I used with him was this one. It's not actually very famous, I think. I don't know if you guys ever saw this book before. The Bunka Shokyu Nihongo books. So they are just 2 books for beginners. The first one is yellow, and the second one is blue. So my opinion on this book, it is a very good book if you have a teacher. So if you don't, and you want to learn on your own Japanese and buy yourself a book, don't buy this one, because everything is in Japanese, and there is no explanation in this book. Nothing. Meaning, they just present to you a sentence, they highlight the grammar, and that's kind of it. And you do need a teacher or something for you to teach what you are reading. So I don't recommend it as a student that doesn't have a teacher. But as a teacher teaching Japanese, a few of my students, I made them buy this book. I usually teach with a PowerPoint that I made myself. But the good thing of this book is that it has a lot of examples, a lot of sentences that you can read when you learned some kind of grammar topic, or it has readings at the beginning of every chapter, like this, dialogues. So I really love the examples and the sample sentences here. But yeah, this is only if you have a teacher you have a teacher and your teacher say, yeah, buy this book. It will be a good book. But if you are learning on your own, or you are searching for a book to use by yourself, this is not a good option. Then, I don't have the books personally, but as a teacher, I had many students, I've seen many books. And let's talk about the more popular ones. And the most popular book is the Mina no Nihongo. I used it with a student that she already had the books, and she wasn't a beginner. She had a more advanced level, and she wanted to continue with the book, so we continued with them. And I did download, not buy the book, the exercise book to use with her. And just by seeing that, I think it's a good book. It has many examples, a little bit boring exercises, but good exercises. Actually, making fun exercises at the beginning, it's a little bit difficult, I think, or in general. So it's a good book. And well, my concern was that there was no explanation at all, like with this one. But I asked her, and there is actually 2 books. So if you want to use the Mina no Nihongo, you have a textbook that actually explains to you the grammar, and then you have the exercise book. So she told me that it does explain well, so it's kind of my opinion mixed with hers. But yes, it is a good book. I also had the Genki book probably 5 years ago. I made a friend in Japan, and she came here as a visit. And she gave me the Genki as a present, but surprise, I wasn't a beginner anymore. But at that time, she was very surprised when we were talking in Japanese. And she told me, well, I bought you the Genki and you actually don't need it. So she gave me as a present. I actually searched for the book, but I'm sorry guys, I don't know where it is. I probably borrowed it to someone that was trying to start learning Japanese, so I don't know where it is, but I did see it because I have other students that had the Genki and asked me, hey, Joanna, can you give me also exercises to use the Genki that I bought? And it's very simple, good exercises, but I cannot judge the explanation because I really don't know about it. But if I have to be like 100%, Joanna, what book do you recommend me as a beginner that wants to start learning Japanese with a book? So I would recommend to you the Learning Japanese from Zero. Yes, Learning Japanese from Zero. So let me explain a little bit the story about that book. I never had it, never seen it, but I do have many students that bought it, and they sent me pictures, and I saw the inside. And the books are very, very well explained, very good examples, very good sentences, etc. And I think they have like 6 books, and judging from the things that are inside every book, it's also a very good level to like go and continue, because it does explain a lot of things and it explains very well. So as my opinion would be, if you want to start with something, that would be a very great book to have. If I didn't know any Japanese at all, I would buy that one. So very good. Continuing now, in general, what are my favorite Japanese books or books to learn or practice Japanese, etc. So my favorite books out there are the Somatome books. If you never saw them, they have these cute characters in the books, and I really love these books. First thing about these books, these are the books that they have are specifically for the Noken test, the JLPT test. So they would be good if you are interested in taking the Japanese test, and these are not a good option for the first book that you have. These are a good option as a book that you've been learning for, let's say, a few months, and you want to start digging in the tests, the Japanese tests. So because I discovered, let's say, these books quite late when I was doing the N4, the ones that I have of N5 are 2 books that I bought actually last year for my students to check them out and to use with them. But for all the levels, they have, first of all, these books here. I have all of them, except the N1, I have all these books. These are vocabulary books. For example, this one you can learn 1,000 words in it. And the cool thing about this book is the following. So it will come with a red sheet. Inside, okay, for example, I don't know, this. Can you see? You have tenki in red. This is the word that you are learning. Then the, how can I say? The translation in English. Also in Vietnamese, if you are Vietnamese, also in Vietnamese. And then it will have an example with a sentence containing the word that you want to learn and the translation. And then you have here this square that you can tick when you know the word. I actually used this to know if I teach to my students that want to take the N5 all the words that are in this book. So it was also very useful as a teacher. But okay, let's imagine you want to learn or practice the word tenki. So you learn it, you read the sentence, you write it in your notes, whatever, and then you want to renshu, to practice. So you grab your red thingy, you put it over the page, and the word that is in red, so the tenki word, the Japanese word, disappears. So you can be weather, okay, trying to remember what weather is, and then you can check like that. So I really love the format and how they explain the words and how the words are separated. I love everything about these books. So even, for example, this one, even if you don't want to take the test and you are starting, it's very good because you are just learning vocabulary. So super, super recommended. I really like this ones. Then I bought also this with the students that wanted to take the test. They are not usually like this. This is only for N5 and N4 because later I grabbed the N2 books for me to show you. So the other books, starting from the N3, N4, N3, N2, and 1, are separated. So you will have vocabulary book, you will have grammar book, listening book, kanji book, and reading practice book. But in the two first levels of the Noken test, N5 and N4, you will have one book that contains all the parts of the test. So what I love about these books is that it is separated in weeks and then in days. So as you can see here, if you do every day, like one day you do 2 pages, in 6 weeks you will have the book completed. So you can actually organize yourself. For example, this is day 6 and you do 2 pages, 1 and 2 every day, and you know that in the 6 weeks you will have practiced everything that you need to know for the test. It doesn't come with an explanation per se. That's why I didn't recommend it as a book for beginners, because yes, it does have an explanation, but you know, it's more as a reviewing book. So if you want to know that, okay, even if you don't make the test, okay, I know this, and this, you can buy this book and practice with it. If you are a more higher level, that I don't think you are, because my channel is focused on people that are starting. But if you are taking more higher tests, these ones are very practical. They work the same. If you do 1 page, in this case it's 8 weeks because it's more things that you need to know, of course. But it is very cool. For example, you have the grammar here that you need to learn. It's a very like basic explanation. So you will have to check out with your teacher or search a little bit more additional information on the internet. But you have the explanation here, and then you have a few exercises over here. So to review, I really love these books, 100%. Okay, so I hope you liked my, let's say, point of view in Japanese books. I hope you liked it. And see you in another video. Mata ne! Bye bye! Arigato!